Liking girl shows as a guy is tough. Unless your guy friends rock with it, or you're willing to get brother zoned by any girl you're talking to, it's a pretty lonely journey, especially as a kid. As a kid, telling anyone you like girl shows was like giving free ammunition to get absolutely roasted. And if you're anything like me, you definitely didn't want any of that heat. So liking girl shows was something you took to the grave, until you grow up and realize that nobody cares. Like literally no one. So in this video, I'm gonna do what kid me couldn't and gush about the girl shows I liked growing up. Starting with, I was just a girl in the village doing alright, till I became a princess overnight. If you don't know what Sophia the First is about, then I have one simple question. How? No, like seriously, how? This show was everywhere back in the day. But to give a brief summary, Sophia the First is a show about a girl named Sophia who becomes a princess when the king marries her mom. She gets this amulet as a gift from the king, and turns out that this amulet isn't just some regular rinky-dink amulet, but also has so much magical power that several people in the show want to use it to overthrow the royal family. Now, why would the king give a literal 8-year-old he barely knows anything about something that could put her in so much danger? I first came across the show while babysitting. The kids I was with would cry my ears off if anything else besides Disney Junior was on. So this meant I was stuck watching hours upon hours of baby shows. And one of the only shows to keep me somewhat sane through this period was Sophia the First. I kid you not, the moment I started watching Sophia the First in my own free time was the exact same moment I got hit with the strongest 6-month obsession. Like, I remember skipping school to watch Sophia the First. The big thing that gravitated me towards the show was definitely its music. I am shocked to this day that so many people forget how good Sophia the First music is. I can't play any of the music because of obvious reasons, but please trust me on this one. Literally search it up on YouTube and have a listen, because I promise it's good. I really enjoyed all the characters in the show. The only one that sticks out that I didn't like was Amber, at least at the beginning when she was at her most snottiest. Like, I get it, you're noble, big whoop. You know, thinking back on it, I remember the disliking I had for Amber slowly turning into an enormous fictional crush on her. So you know what, maybe I'm the problem. The only bit of critique I have for the show is that Sophia never actually loses her amulet. And yeah, I get it, it's a kids show, the good guys will always win, but after a while it just becomes so predictable and boring. Like, at the very least, add a bit of stake, some drama, something, anything. Like, you gotta understand, after a certain point I felt like I was watching the same 3 episodes for 3 seasons straight. Sophia the First, despite its faults, is a show that will always have a special place in my heart. Also, holy crap, is that Bloom from the hit show?
4 big guys, and they bust on my eyes.
I'm sure Winx Club needs no introduction, but just in case, it's a show where a bunch of teens transform into fairies, attend a magical institution called Alpha College, where they learn so much, I had so powers, it's a show about magical girls. Winx Club was a fun watch. Most of the show I watched with my sister, but because we were watching on cable, and cable works in funny ways, we didn't start the show from season 1. To be honest, most of the show I can remember is season 7, so I'll just be talking about season 7. Let me just say that this was truly a show I could not let the guys find out about. Like, sure, Sophia the First was understandable, but Winx Club? Winx Club! I took this to my grave, and I wouldn't be surprised if if nobody besides my sister knew that I watched this show. While making this video, I found out that a lot of the Winx fandom don't really like Winx Club season 7, which is kinda awkward because that's my favorite season. I know a lot of the complaints of season 7 was mostly how the characters were hollow, there was barely a plot, the show became pushed more and more towards kids and to sell toys, but I guess that just didn't matter to me because oh my word did I eat this show up as a kid. Do I remember any of the plot? No. Do I remember any of the basics of what happened, all the new characters introduced? Also no. But to be completely honest, I was too busy having a crush on every single one of the Winx Club girls to even even pay attention to anything that was happening in the show. But the one part that I really do remember is the music, specifically the music that plays during the transformations. In Winx Club Season 7, they introduce a transformation called Butterflicks. And if you've watched Winx Club, you already know what I'm gonna talk about. You know that meme about transformations in kids shows, like how in Power Rangers they'll just be standing there doing their whole routine while the villains just stand there and watch? Now imagine that, but 3 minutes long. And you know why it was that long? It's because while the world's in danger and evil villains are running around, these girls find the time to have a dance party mid-transformation. Yes, it was dumb. Yes, it was pointless. Yes, it was absolutely meme to death. But me and my sister loved every single second of it. I think the reason Winx Club was just such a big part of my childhood is because it was one of the few shows that me and my sister really bonded watching. I mean, I hope we did. Oh my word, that's been a minute. I love this show and I love this goofy little season that I watched, but it was far from perfect. There's a lot more girl shows I could talk about in this video, but truly no other even matches the absolute obsession I had with this next show. My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. There we land. This show is honestly one of my favorite cartoons ever. It's that good. And I know it's that good because of how huge its fan base is. The amount of guys that secretly liked the show growing up is probably past the millions. MLP, especially back when it was airing, was truly everywhere. It was simply a phenomenon that took over the world, and I could honestly make a whole entire video about my obsession with this show. Out of all the shows I talked about, MLP is the only show I asked some of my guy friends to watch, which, at least for me, was one of the hardest things I could ever convince myself to do. I'm not even gonna insult your intelligence by explaining what the show is about, because it's most likely in the thumbnail and it's probably why you clicked on this video. But if you somehow got this far in the video and still don't know what the show is about, I don't know, man, get a VPN, bro, and watch it. I still remember my first time I watched MLP, and my first thoughts weren't, wow, what a cool show, or whoa, what a trash show made for sissies. It was more like, oh, I don't get it. I don't know what it was, but I just remember being so confused when watching the show, mostly because I hadn't watched a full episode at that point, only snippets near the end of episodes while I waited for something else to come on. But eventually, once I started watching the show properly, I got addicted fast. I would end up binging the entirety of the first 2 seasons in one single sitting, and from that moment on, there was no stopping me. Just to give you an example of how quickly the show had taken over my life, I would put reminders on my decoder for every single episode of MLP I could find just to watch more of it. I even voluntarily watched reruns. Who does that? I remember near Christmas time, I was given this magazines with toys in it, and I remember really wanting the MLP toys, but was way too embarrassed to even bring up the idea. MLP became one of those shows that lived absolutely rent-free in my mind, so it would come as a bit of a surprise that I actually never finished the entire show. Okay, look, I can explain. Getting Wi-Fi and a PC, which eventually became my main form of entertainment ahead of cable, was definitely part of it, but the biggest reason I dropped MLP was just the lack of community at the time. Of course, with hindsight, I know that one Google search and I would have found an enormous MLP community, but I don't know, I was like 13, I barely knew how to use the internet. I just remember desperately wanting someone to share my MLP love with. I was like an MLP bomb waiting to explode. But alas, there was no one. Which eventually led to me dropping the show, because I thought if no one around me likes the show, then it's probably not that great. Which could have all been fixed by one simple Google search, but hey, it is what it is. Maybe one day when I have a good excuse to watch the show, I'll finish it, but that's probably a long time from now. I think a big takeaway for girl shows that guys like is that, for the most part, the reason guys like the shows isn't because they're girl shows, but mostly because they're pretty good shows. Think Powerpuff Girls and Miraculous Ladybug. They're pretty... Okay, I actually don't know about Miraculous. Think of shows like Powerpuff Girls and Totally Spies. Either that or it's just acceptance through exposure, because let's be real guys, I feel like a lot of guys that like these shows have sisters who guarded the remote with their lives. And what starts out as an annoying show you begrudgingly watch slowly becomes something that you really appreciate. I really enjoyed working on this video. I don't mind making a part 2 on this video, like girl shows that guys like, but it's like reality TV based. Like, where's my 90-Day Fiancé fans? Oh, that show's trash. But yeah, this video should be coming out like very late. I actually started this video like early September, and a lot of annoying things happened that delayed this video to when you're probably getting it now. Maybe it's October, maybe it's September, we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's been really fun. We are now at 3,000 subscribers. I'm extremely grateful, and I unlocked YouTube monetization, so don't skip the ads. I'm kidding. That was a joke. Oh my word. I use ad blocker anyway. But in all seriousness, join the Discord. It's such a fun time. And yeah, I'm extremely grateful for all of the support that I've been getting with this video. I know I want to become better. I want to become better with upload schedule. I don't want to be like a 1-month YouTuber. I want to upload a lot more. So I'll be trying my best to do that. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's kind of all I have to say. This is the first time I really made an end card. But yeah, follow my Bluesky. That's an order. Follow my Insta. That's a suggestion. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Skedaddle. Nah, I'm missing. Scrap!